Okay, we are live on the Paced Happiest Hour. Today we've got 2/5 of Grouplove. Hannah, Christian, thank you so much for joining us from LA. Where in LA are you?
We're in Silver Lake. Good old,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Cool. Well, it's great to have you guys on the program. Congratulations on the release of your latest album, Healer. Came out in March.
Thank.
Basically right as everything was going down with the pandemic. 2 days after that infamous Wednesday when we found out Tom Hanks had it and the NBA got canceled and all of that.
Crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it's been wild. We had like
So,
an album release party, and the morning of the album release party, we were told that it would be irresponsible to have it, and we were like, "No, fuck that, no!" Like rebel, and we just had no idea like how this had grown exponentially in the last, in like a week.
Yeah.
And so we
that,
canceled it. Basically everything's been canceled since then. So here we
yeah.
are.
Well,
Yeah.
not, I'm sure how you imagined all the work and effort going into your album would result in the months that followed. But it's a great album. It's getting a lot of radio play. You've got great videos, and you are able to do stuff like this, which we really appreciate. So thanks for joining us today.
Really, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
man.
So, one thing, well, first, tell us a little bit about recording this album. You had two different producers, partly recorded in Texas, partly in LA. How did that all come about?
Well, I mean, the making the album was just a wild journey because it was kind of over the course of 3 years, which was the longest time off we've ever taken, like time off. And we originally met with Dave Siddick with like a batch of songs that we'd written, and super scared to meet with him. He's a really intimidating dude, and he basically just heard our music and he's like, "You know what? I fucking believe you guys. I believe what you're saying. I believe in your music. I like you people. Let's go to Sonic Ranch. Let's make an album." So that is really that chapter. Was we went to Sonic Ranch, we lost our minds, we wrote half the album with Dave, and then we got back and I found out that I had to get brain surgery. Like, not a chill thing to find out. Yeah, I was painting for my first solo show and I thought I was having like a stroke. Or I didn't know what was happening. But anyway, I found I had to get brain surgery and we were like, let's keep writing. Because the best thing to do in moments of basically any time of panic is to really focus on what you love to do. So we just fully distracted ourselves and kept writing. And that's when we went in Malay. And then when we finished that, I got brain surgery.
Yeah.
And then we named the album Healer because it literally healed me and sort of healed the whole band collectively. And now hopefully it's healing everyone.
All right. Well, that's an incredible story. I'm so glad you're okay and came through that and had music helping you through to heal, because I know that's so common with so many people to be able to just reach an album they love really helps them through that. And the making of an album can do that as well.
Totally.
How has that changed your perspective on what this dumpster fire of 2020 has been, going through all of that,
Yeah.
and then getting to this?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it kind of gave us the confidence that we can kind of get through anything. Kind of gave us that armor I think we needed. We already believed in ourselves like that, but we really like went through it, especially for me being on the outside and kind of being a pillar for Hannah and our daughter, who at the time was 3. I don't know, just instilled this like, I don't know, confidence, I'd say.
Yeah.
We can like overcome anything that they throw at us.
We're
I mean,
stronger than we
yeah,
think.
Yeah.
And also like quiet time, as long as we're lucky that we don't have COVID-19 right now, but this downtime is really like an important time for all of us too. To really I used that same time when I was going through the brain stuff, really focusing on what is important to you, not what society makes you think is important, but genuinely like what is important to us. Because at the end of the day, we are born and we die, and so like what we do in between is it's really up to us. It's like nobody else can really tell you what makes you happy. We are with people. So I think that this is really just amplifying that lesson to us.
That's fantastic. Well, I love your spirit. I love your spirit on stage, the way you guys come across, and it's just so full of joy. And I'm so glad to have you here today. So what are you going to play first for us?
We're going to play you our single right now off our new album, Healer, which is called Deleter, which we did with Dave at the ranch as we slowly lost our minds.
1, 2, 3, and you're all watching your airplanes and the highways. We've been here for too long, for too long. Am I anxious or just modern? All this darkness been going on too long, for too long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All this time I thought you were a leader, but it turns out you're only a leader. Tell your friends that you're okay. You're never gonna see them anyway. All this time I thought you were a leader, but it turns out you're only a leader. But no, 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 no. No, no. Yeah, yeah. It's the future and I'm brain dead. Yeah, I'm destitute. Yeah, I feel no roots anymore. So take another picture and show them what you're doing and how we built a lighthouse out of all these God-forsaken ruins. You know it's coming. None of this can last. The world will recover when shit puts us in the past. Yeah, all this time I thought you were a leader, but it turns out you're only a leader. But tell your friends that you're okay. You're never gonna see them anyway. All this time I thought you were a leader, but it turns out you're only a leader. No, 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 no. No, no. Yeah, yeah. I don't know where to go. Oh, bring the pain. Oh, bring the pain, my baby. I just know, I know you're gonna wear me out. So bring the pain, 'cause nothing matters anymore, my baby. All this time been burning with the fever. It turns out I've always been my hero. I know, no, no, no. All this time I thought you were a leader, but it turns out you're only a leader. I know, no, no, no. No, no. Yeah, yeah.
Woo! Oh, that's so great.
Thanks.
So one thing that, it took a while of doing this that I realized one thing I missed so much was harmonies. And not many people get to do that in a setting like this. So I'm so glad to have you both on and have y'all sing together.
People feel good.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah. I hope you're not picking up the insane construction going on across the street.
It's like 10 feet away.
It's crazy.
I did not know that was happening, so that's a good sign.
Okay. We hear it. So like our neighbors have decided to gut their whole front yard and put in a 3-car garage, literally right when you open the front door of our house.
It's a good thing y'all are never home right now, so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to.
We were supposed to be far away. It's all good.
So being sequestered and from the other 3/5 of your band, how is it, having each other and being able to play music together? What has that meant through all of this?
Oh my God, it's meant we've had an outlet, There's something about not having your band around where you're like, ooh, let's finish this song. Like Christian will go and like produce it, and we'll like work on the song and we'll send it to them, and it's like a little like, and the boys, they're writing too, and they're sending us songs, so we're all kind of like have gifts for each other, which is fun.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. And also we've been using this, this is like, we've been doing our own Instagram lives 2 days a week. Before actually when this started, we're doing it 3 days a week, and it's really given us this really like intimate platform, surprisingly, to get to know our fans. Like I was pretty like we were both pretty just like anti-internet for a while, and now I realize like just how immediate going live is, because there's really no like nothing lost in translation on a tweet or on like a post. You're just like, this is me, I'm frustrated today, or I'm like, here's a song we just messed everything up on, and you experience that. So there's this this intimacy, and then we're talking to our fans through it all, and it's pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Well, the last time I saw you guys play was Thanksgiving at the I'm forgetting the name of the Stuffing.
Oh, really? With Manchester.
With Manchester Orchestra. Such a fun night.
Yeah. That was our first time in that venue. We'd always heard about it, but it was such a majestic place.
The Fox Theater in Atlanta is a special place.
We saw Tom York play there.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
We went and saw him play there just to see, like, we're like, oh shit, we're going to be playing here next. Like, from Tom York to Grouplove. But it just felt, and he was just wigging out, like he was dancing, and he was playing his new album with, I can't remember this cool graphic designer did all the work that changed as the songs like morphed, the art morphed, and that was really
it was cool.
Yeah, really
when we played the Fox, we did the complete opposite. We just had like a really ghetto lighting setup.
Yes.
It's still really fun.
But our big blow-up teeth.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, Atlanta's awesome, man.
Yeah, we are coming that way.
You might move there.
Very soon.
Well, we would welcome you. That's the thing about Atlanta, is we welcome everybody. We love our city. We love bringing people in.
I know.
And some of your bandmates are already here. Is that right?
Our bass player Dan, he lives in Little Five Points.
He owns a studio there, which is really cool.
Called Big Trouble.
Yeah.
And so we go and record a lot of demos there and just hang out there. And
our homeless drummer is thinking of moving there.
Yeah. He lived with us, our drummer lived with us for the first 65 days of quarantine. And I swear to you, on like day 61, I was like, dude, get out of our house. But I love him so much. Like he's honestly the best dude ever. You can't not love everyone in our band.
Wow. That's great. Well, I was interested to see that the UN has certified you guys as climate positive on your tour. Can you talk a little bit about how that works, how you get to where you're helping the climate more than doing damage as you tour around? And I think it's an incredible thing.
Yeah, it's still like early on in the stages, but it's an amazing thing to be discussing. And it's just, how can we lower our carbon footprint when we're touring? And, it's tough right now because of the buses and all this stuff. So we're just trying to do some offsets where you buy, you donate and put money towards planting on the shores of, let's say, North Carolina or stuff, just to offset the carbon that's being released in the world. And
I think every ticket sale is one tree planted.
Yeah.
That's what it is right now.
And you cut down on all your water bottles and, like the easy things to do. But we didn't have a chance to do it yet, so we're still going to figure that out as we go. But we've been reading a lot about it, and we're super, proud to do that and bring the conversation to the table.
And we always like to be the first. It's really just about being more conscious, on the road. It's honestly so hard. I remember Coldplay said something like they're not going to tour again until they can leave zero carbon footprint. But the truth is, how do we do that? There's a way to offset it. We're learning. So that's what we're doing now.
We could ride horses to the shows.
We could.
And tour on horseback.
Tour on horseback. That would be a first, I think. Well, First since like the Middle Ages, you know.
Yeah, we'll just be like touring.
We'll play like a show a week.
Yeah.
And we'd have like a guitar on our back. Then we'd have like a bongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
that's great. Well, I love the positivity that you guys exude up on stage. It's this party, and then, you know, when it comes to stuff that matters, you guys are trying to lead the charge. Done a lot of stuff with headcount, with LGBTQ issues. How do you decide sort of where to put your focus and efforts?
I think.
Well, I think, you know, especially under this current administration, you know, there's such a lack of empathy for people who are marginalized. We want to help them give a voice to those people. Because
also voting. Just vote. Right now, I think voting is the priority right now.
Yeah.
To be honest, because everything from our environment to our LGBTQ community to just our educational systems, so everything is being affected until we get that idiot out of the White House. So
and also
get him out.
And not just focus on the presidential race, but also bring awareness to all the Senate races that are coming.
Let's get Democrats into the Senate.
So
there's like a couple spots.
Yeah.
So we've got some races coming up in Georgia. So
yeah. Good luck.
Come move now when it matters.
Yeah.
We could use your votes.
Exactly.
All right. So what are you gonna play last for us here?
So we're limited right now because it's only two of us. So we're gonna play a song off our new album called "Ahead of Myself."
Since this is a happy hour type of event,
we feel like this is an appropriate song.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone can relate to this, probably especially in quarantine. Should I reconsider all the side effects before I get ahead of myself? Ahead of myself. I know my liver must be mad at me because I just neglect my health. Neglect my health. Ooh, they say I do too much. Oh, well, there ain't much time. I think they're losing touch, missing all the good times. Is it your ego? Or is it all that pride? It must be tough for you, holding all that shit inside. Let's do some shit we won't remember. We'll be great pretenders. One more and then I'm going home. There'll be no worries about tomorrow. Now it's time to borrow. One more and then I'm going home. I know I said last time was the last time, but for real, this is the last time now. The last time now. If we don't ask questions, I know we won't second guess it when we're spinning out. I'm spinning out. They say I do too much. Oh, well, there ain't much time. I think they're losing touch, missing all the good times. Is it your ego? Or is it all that pride? It must be tough for you, holding all that shit inside. Let's do some shit we won't remember. We'll be great pretenders. One more and then I'm going home. There'll be no worries about tomorrow. Now it's time to borrow. One more and then I'm going. Let's get lost tonight. We'll just fall apart before the world falls back on me. Only you can see I'll make you feel alright. But it's only temporary time you spend with me. Temporary time, so we'll just go. Is it your ego? Or is it all that pride? It must be tough for you, holding all that shit in. Let's do some shit we won't remember. We'll be great pretenders. One more and then I'm going home. There'll be no worries about tomorrow. Now it's time to borrow. One more and then I'm going home. One more and then I'm going home.
Woo! Oh, guys, thanks so much for doing this today. This has been so much fun.
Dude, thanks for having us.
Seriously.
Absolutely. I think the last time we did a video with you guys was all the way back in 2011 at Deluna Fest on the beach.
Oh my God, I remember that.
It was so fun because y'all like finished playing and then just ran into the water and
Yeah.
That was awesome.
in the waves. That was amazing.
Wow, so long ago.
Well, all your support for artists is just admirable, and
Yeah.
it's so important. So important.
Well,
Thank you.
we love
Yeah.
doing it and we love having you on here. And next time you are in Atlanta, we'll have to do this again in person without the video screens and the Zoom and all of that.
Super down.
Let's do it.
All right, well, I'm going to bring on our next guest, Dulcé Sloan.
Oh.
Hello.
Hey, Dulcé. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. So now we have Atlanta, New York, and LA on the screen. So
Hello.
Hi.
So this is the part of the show where we like to raise a glass to whoever we want to raise the glass to that day, whoever you're feeling like. So I will start us off with a toast. We were just talking about head count and people getting people registered. We have a wonderful woman here in the state of Georgia who has devoted so much of her time and efforts to getting people registered, Stacey Abrams. So I'd like to raise the glass to her and to everyone out there with a clipboard at every event, when we had events, and however they're doing it now to try to get people registered to vote. Cheers to you all.
Cheers to
Yes.
Stacey for vice president.
Oh, yeah. All right, Hannah, Christian, who else should we be toasting today?
That's your mom.
Yes, I'm gonna raise a glass to my mom because she just kind of beat cancer, which is awesome.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah.
raise it.
Congratulations. Oh, that is exciting and definitely worth raising a glass to.
Health cares during this
It's
time.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to you.
All right,
Yeah.
cheers to your mom.
Thank you.
And Dulcé, who else should we be toasting today?
I do want to raise a glass to my landlord, who I just found out passed away.
Ooh.
And to George Floyd.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, glass
Cheers
to-
to both of them.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, Hannah, Christian, thank you guys so much for joining us today. This has been so much fun.
Thanks for having us.
Stay safe, guys.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hi, Dulcé. How you doing today?
I am good. I had to close my laptop to make sure I didn't spill my drink on it. I got a MacBook, my first ever MacBook, like 2 weeks ago, and got it on a Friday. I opened the box on a Friday, and on Tuesday, I promptly spilled a little water on it. So I am. She's doing all right because I got the water up, and I even took a one of those reusable straws that I have for my reusable cups. It was literally turning my laptop upside down and blowing the straw in between the keys. I got a lot of water out, so she's okay.
Technology, we're all learning. So, Dulcé, what have you been spending your time on the last couple months? I know you've got a new podcast. Are you able to continue doing work remotely on The Daily Show? How is that working?
Yes, we're working remotely for The Daily Show, so we are if I'm doing any, I've done, I've shot 2 field pieces. One with someone at the Census Bureau because they're trying to get people to take the census, and then actually one with Stacey Abrams' sister Janine about the Census Bureau. And so I've been doing that. You just shoot on Zoom, and then I've also been doing a lot of crafting and shooting the podcast. So.
Yeah, tell us about the podcast, That Black Ass Show. It sounds very fun. You've got 5 episodes out, brand new episode today on Dear White People with Justin Simeon as your guest, which is pretty cool to do that way.
Yeah, we interviewed him about Dear White People and about his new movie coming out on Hulu later this fall called Bad Hair, which is about a killer weave. So I'm really excited for that to be coming out, for them to be another opportunity for him. Apparently did great at Sundance. And it is a horror film. And so, just glad to see more Black horror movies into the zeitgeist of society. But yeah, it's been really fun. I got to interview Thea Fadal about Thea. I talked to Roy Wood Jr. about UPN. One of our writers, Ex Mayo, I spoke to her about living single. So it's been really great. We've got some fun. I talked to Ron Funches about the movie Fear of a Black Hat, Ashley Nicole Black, about Black Lady Sketch Show and Scandal. So I just been really enjoying talking to Black creatives about the shows and movies that influence them, or the ones that are just their personal favorites.
So was there a show that spurred this for you? Like, I got to talk about this show that I love that influenced me, that more people need to know about, or I just want to talk about. Was there one show for you that, if you had to pick one, that influenced you?
Well, I did the show Give Me a Break that starred Nell Carter. I think seeing a woman that, seeing a Black woman that was starring in a show, seeing a plus size Black woman starring in a show, because your girl's always been a little thick, even as a child. That show, it was really great to see her because, she was the star of the show, and then seeing Living Single, and seeing Khadijah, and Queen Latifah character, and Kim Pole's character. So seeing, full-figured women that look like me that were in, great relationships, and they had great lives, and they had great jobs, and just seeing how the characters were portrayed and seeing them as full people and full women, I think was very influential for me. Seeing myself represented on screen, and also knowing that I will have acting opportunities when I get older. So that was the biggest thing for me. But Judith Parbo at Starburns, who is the producer of the show, she pitched this to me, and I loved it, and I was like, let's do it.
That's fantastic. Well, I noticed in the press release it mentioned that one of the shows you might tackle is Atlanta, and as an Atlantan, that show's pretty special to those of us who live here. Are you definitely planning on doing that episode, or do you know what that's going to be like?
Well, we don't pick the shows and give them to the guest. The guest picks the show, and then we talk about it. So I know that I did an interview with David Perdue, who's a comic in Atlanta, and I told him that I hadn't seen all of because we do a segment every episode called That Black Ass Confession. So basically, me and the guest confess to a Black movie or TV show, or just in general Black thing in Black culture we can't do. So I always say I've never seen, my example is, I've never seen Bebe's Kids, and I'm really not good at spades. And so, people said they can't double dutch, or, Ex Mayo said, oh, she can't make great mac and cheese. So it's, so that's one of my favorite parts of it. But yeah, I said to David Perdue that I had never seen ATL in its entirety. I've attempted to watch it, and then I don't know if I'm watching it too late, but sometimes I'll doze off and be like, skating ring. And then I'll come back and it's like, Big Boy's Pissed. And then I'll come back and go, the Hodge Twins. And then I'm gone again. So I, to redeem myself, to David Perdue and the city that raised me, we're going to do another episode about ATL.
That's fantastic. So you are from Atlanta. Can you talk about growing up here and moving to New York and what, the difference between the two cities and what they've meant to you?
Well, originally I'm from Miami, and so, but most of my upbringing, most of my life has been in Atlanta and various parts of Atlanta, but most of it's been Norcross and Stone Mountain. So yes, OTP, but we know how that works. You get to claim what you claim. But it's the Decatur side of Stone Mountain, not the not the mountain side of Stone Mountain.
That's where I literally am right now. It's more the Stone Mountain side of Decatur than the Decatur side of Stone Mountain, but yeah.
Right, and I'm in the Decatur side of Stone Mountain, so we're somewhere near Avondale Estates, basically.
I'm just south of Avondale right now, literally sitting in this chair.
As long as you're somewhere over by Agnes Scott, you're fine. You're at least 10, 15. I could say from my mama house, I can get to Memorial Drive in 5 minutes. So I'm fine. So yeah, I'm originally from Miami, grew up mostly in Atlanta, and I moved from Atlanta to LA, and then lived in LA for a year and a half, and then moved to New York. So that's kind of been the trajectory. I had a day job. I moved to LA in February of 2016, and I had a day job. I was working in Chamblee at a stucco supply company up until November of 2015. So I moved to LA first, loved LA, was there for a year and a half, working. I did 2 pilots, and then I booked Daily Show in the fall of the summer of 2017, and then I moved here in September of 2017. I moved to New York.
So during all of that you mentioned, and even a little further back, you were doing stand-up comedy. You won NBC's stand-up competition, I think 2015.
Yeah, I won 2015, and my reign was in 2016. Kind of like a pageant. You win in the fall, and then you reign for a year.
Did you get a crown? Anything?
No,
little tiara?
No, I got no sash. They did give your girl a check, so I could allow it.
You could have gone and bought a tiara with that. So
honestly, I probably could have made myself a sash. I think the next time, if we ever get together again, I will probably, just because I'm a foolish human being, NBC Stand-Up Diversity winner 2015, reign of 2016, make myself a nice sash. Tone Bell, who's another comic who grew up in Atlanta as well. We also done, he did the competition as well. So got to get him a sash. Yeah, but yeah, Atlanta's around. Yeah, we're out here working. We're working. We're moving out. A lot of the comics. There was a whole group of us that have gone to LA and New York and have done quite well. So,
well, stand up is kind of on hold right now. Have you been doing a lot of stand up in New York at all? Do you love the opportunity to get out and do a night, even though you're busy with so many other things? Or
well, I'm on the road. Well, when we were on the road, I was on the road a lot of the weekends because we tape the show. We tape Daily Show Monday through Thursday. So, you try to fit as many shows as you can. But I was always on the road doing clubs all over the country on the weekends. And then when we would have any of our vacation weeks, I did the Melbourne Comedy Festival. I went to Edinburgh. I did JFL again. I did JFL in Toronto and JFL in Vancouver, JFL in Montreal. So on those weeks that we have off, in addition to, performing around the city, I've also, because of the show, been able to tour internationally doing stand-up, and that's been great.
That's fantastic. Well, New York is not the easiest place to be quarantined right now. How are you holding up with being in your house for a couple months now?
Well, I do have a sizable crafting area. So I've been crafting, but I've still been working on the shows, still recording the podcast. I was saying I've done a lot more work for not being at work. I think I've done more work at my house than I did at work. So yeah, we still meet every day, because it's the same schedule we had before. I'm in the office, and, there's plenty of times where sometimes you're not on the show, or then you get a text from the EP, and she's like, "You're gonna be on the show today. Go to hair and makeup. Here's a script." Boom. Or, "Hey, we're doing a sketch today. You're in it." So it's still that we still have that type of schedule. It's just now that I'm not going down into the studio, it's me, setting up the camera and the lights and everything and adjusting all in my house. So that's been it. So the schedule is kind of the same, and like the work is the same. It's just that now it's just me in here as a one-man band taping these sketches, as opposed to having the whole, crew, sound guy, hair, makeup, wardrobe, all of that.
Well, you're also going to be in a new Fox animation comedy called The Great North.
Yes.
Has all that work been done? Did you do all your recording for that? Are there still stuff going on?
I think there's still some stuff going on with that, because that's going to be coming out next year. So we're still doing some work on that, but the show sent us recording equipment. Great North sent us recording equipment. I got a laptop to make sure that, because you can't do everything on an iPad and a cell phone. So I was like, all right, ladies, step your game up, participate accurately, correctly. Be a team player, get a laptop. So yeah, we're still working on some stuff with that, but we've seen some initial drawings, and some of our producers, they shared some of the initial work that they have on Twitter, and I shared it on my Twitter as well, and it's just really great to see. And it was awesome because with my character, I got to give some input on her design, like a little on her body and on her hair. So I'm really excited to be part of it. I'm excited for everybody to see it.
That's fantastic. Well, what has that been like working on an animated show and working with that cast and the writers, which are mostly from Bob's Burgers?
Yeah, a lot of the teams from Bob's Burgers, and the kind of the design of the show is in the line of Bob's Burgers. Because me and Aparna live here in New York, so we go to a recording studio in New York and record in Manhattan. But if I'm ever in LA when we have a record date, I really like being out there because that's when a lot of the cast is there. And so, because a lot of times, like sometimes with animation, it's a solitary thing where it's just you recording, but then because a good thing with us is that we kind of still record as an ensemble, even though we're in different places. So it's just not you doing your lines by yourself. That you're still doing the dialogue with the other characters. And, if we have an idea for a line read or, something we want to pitch or a little thing we can add in, they're always really open to that. But it's been really great because since we do record as an ensemble and if there's 5 of us in a scene, all of us are scheduled at the same time to record this scene. So you still get to really, even though I'm standing there talking to a microphone, I'm still emoting, I'm still acting. When a partner's across from me or she's not there, but you're still acting you still hear everyone acting, so you can still get the same feeling that you're all together.
So you're splitting your time between doing a satire show, doing stand-up, doing an animated comedy, doing your own podcast. Do you love the variety of all of that and keeping it different every day of what you're spending your time on?
For me, it's just all performing, and that's the goal. The goal is to, I decided to become a performer when I was 6 years old, so that was 30 years ago. So the fact that I am sitting on a computer and doing daily show stuff, or Great North stuff, or podcast stuff, and not selling stucco, amazing.
That's fantastic. So
I did customer service, honey. So I was doing phones. I worked at a power company, trash company, all of these places in 2 languages. So the fact that I don't have to tell somebody in Spanish that I can't turn their lights back on, blessing.
That's fantastic. So is there anything that you haven't done that you think I would really love the opportunity to use my performance skills on this thing?
Star Trek movie.
All right.
It's my dream. And not this new weird Kelvin timeline Star Trek. No, I'm talking about like the Picard timeline where you still got Data, you still got Worf, Riker, Counselor Troy, Geordi. I want to be a Klingon in a Star Trek movie. That's what I want to be. But not these new...
in a Star Trek movie. So, have you watched the new Picard?
Of course I watched the new Picard.
Oh, so great. So great. Nice.
So good. Because like I was watching Discovery and they changed the Cleons and I'm like, okay. Because they're my favorite. The Cleons and the Bajorans, and the Jem'Hadar. But because they were just fun. But the Cleons and the Bajorans, and of course, whatever race Guinan is, because no one really knows. We just know that she has an issue with Q. But yes, Cleon's number one all day. Love them. Black people in space with amazing hair. Come on, dude. I'm here. I'm made for this.
That's great. All right. Well, let's see what we can do. Come on. Let's make this happen.
Come on, Paramount. Come on, CBS. Stop playing with the little child's dream. Come alive, Paramount.
Well, CBS seems to be trying to figure out every way they can create something new on that timeline and the Discovery timeline, and we gotta make this happen in a movie.
I'm here for it because now CBS and Viacom are the same company. So come on, bless the kid. We call it to existence. Come on, Jesus. Girl gonna be a Cleon in a Star Trek movie. Get it?
Do you speak any Cleon? Can you say anything in Cleon?
I'll figure it out.
You figure it out. All right.
I know what Stovall is, and I know that that's a place you need to wait on. So other than that, and I know what a batleth is, and I know that they got them amazing outfits at what is it? The sisters. I can't remember their name. I know how to say Duras.
It's the Duras sisters. That's the name.
Duras sisters. Right. So the baddest outfit you've ever seen in your life is the outfit that the Duras sisters would wear, or when Worf and Jadzia got married. Baddest outfit you've ever seen on any sci-fi ever, other than the outfit that the lady wears in the Fifth Element and all the Chris Tucker stuff. But all of that, please, come on. The Duras sisters, titties sitting, popping, out here looking dangerous. I'm here for it. Now, mind you, they were real sneaky, but
all right.
I'm just
we gotta get a batleth in your hand and get you on a Star Trek movie.
I could be Gowron's daughter. I could be Worf's daughter. I could be anything. Get me in this movie, bruh.
I love that you had a very specific answer to this question. That's fantastic.
It's the dream. It's the dream.
All right. So one thing we like to ask everybody on the show is, what is that piece of art, TV show, book, album, whatever, that you are finding yourself drawn to right now during the quarantine? What are you spending your time on? What is that? Star Trek, or is that something else?
Well, I just started watching the show Upload, and my friend Zaynab Johnson's on it. She's amazing. I've always been in love with a murder mystery, but not like a Criminal Minds type of CSI murder mystery. Like there's this Canadian one called the Murdoch Mysteries that I watch. I found one called Hathaway and Shakespeare. They're like a little detective agency, or Agatha Ray. I like a detective kind of situation. Something like kind of cute. Like we get this who did kill Lady Carrington? I want to know. I don't want anything true life. In those true life podcasts, I don't want to know that a real human met Jesus. No. I want to know when this scene was over, somebody got up and then went to crafty. Like that's where I am when it comes to the situation. Like Death in Paradise, love that. Father Brown, love that show. And then my Korean dramas, of course, because Atlanta has KTN. So I started watching Korean dramas when I was a kid. And now I watch them on Viki, and I love a historical Korean drama. I love a present day, but I especially love the historical dramas because they just look amazing. Also, Arrow was really taking people out in ways that I don't think we really knew about.
Well, the great thing,
Arrows was coming from way out.
Well, the great thing about loving Korean dramas and murder mysteries from Canada or the UK or whatever is you will never run out of them. There's more than you could possibly watch. So you'll be, no matter how long this quarantine lasts, you'll be fine.
And now they got some on Hulu. No, they got some on Netflix. But yeah, because like my Korean dramas, like I watch those. One, the acting is amazing. Two, wonderful storytelling. Three, the people are gorgeous. The men are so fine. But it's the way that they lay out a story. It's really the storytelling and the acting. Sometimes even the cinematography. I was watching the one shot, I was like, damn, this man filmed the hell out of this. Who was the director? And I look him up, and then it's a website in Korean, so I don't know what's happening. But he is killing the game. But I like to see good storytelling, and I like to see good acting. And I think one of the things I really like about, especially historical dramas, is the way that they unfold the story. So, say two of the king's advisors are talking to each other as a bit of vital information. They'll cut the scene so you don't get the vital information, and then when one of those advisors goes to the king, you experience the king getting the information because the information was about him anyway. So as opposed to hearing the information over here and then having to repeat it back to the king when they tell him, you don't get it when they tell it. You get it when they tell the king, or they'll do it where they go to the king, but then they do a flashback to a conversation that happened 20 minutes ago, and then you watch them tell each other. And I was like, see, now I'm focused. I'm paying attention. Also, if I look down for a second, I miss a plot point. So you got to be up, you got to be focused because you're reading these subtitles. And it's gotten to the point where sometimes I'll read something and I'll go, oh, there's little words that I'm starting to pick up, or little phrases. I don't know what it is, but sometimes I'm like, oh, he said brother. He didn't say that. Oh, wait, he said, just little words that I've figured out just with the translations and stuff. But they're very interesting. I know a lot about Korean history. Because I'm like, is this a real king? I don't even know. How's this? Sejong. All right, where was he going? Oh, he did have 37 wives? Yeah, that's going to be a problem. He had 37 kids? Oh, that's going to be a problem. I wonder y'all trying to kill each other. Because the 15th one wants to be king. He got to kill 14 of his brothers. Damn, it's the problem. And then I'm watching the show for a year. So, yeah, I have fun. I got to think over.
What is your favorite of the Korean historical dramas?
The historical dramas, I cannot pronounce it correctly. Because I know a few words in Korean. I know how to say those right. But it's Queen, I think it's Seondeok, and it's Seondeok. And it's a loose interpretation of the first queen of Korea. And it is wild. It's 60 episodes. Every episode is a solid hour. No commercial break. It's a solid hour and an hour and some change. And so this is all you're doing, and you get so wrapped up in the story. And so basically the whole premise of it's there's a bad lady named Michelle. She's the king's concubine. She can't become queen. Knocks him off. King dies. Knocks him off. King dies. Picks a son, make me queen. He said no. She gets him kicked off the throne. Gets the next son. He won't make her queen. She's like, fine, bump this. I'm coming for your whole family. He has daughters, twin daughters, double bad luck. So one of the daughters has to go into hiding, and Michelle spends a whole bunch of time finding this daughter. The daughter got to go out on the Silk Road. One of the maids, she don't know she a princess, right? Michelle sends her homeboy. Then the girl thinks her mama died, and now she got to disguise herself as a man. She has to join the army. She gets out the army, and she falls in love with one dude. And Michelle got all these other sons. Because Michelle had 2 husbands. You understand what I'm saying? She had a husband who was a consulate. What's what I'm trying to say? Advisor in the king's court, and then her other husband was the head of the army. And Michelle was so powerful, she had her own army. Her army was bigger than the king's army. The most powerful woman ever. And they were like, and I was looking it up. And so they know she was a person, and she was a king's concubine. But they can't some historical facts, she might have not been alive, and they're like, no, we got a record of her. But a lot of the history is a little dramatized. But so when the girl does start becoming queen, when she does become a queen, the boy she was in love with tries to start a revolution, a revolt to get her kicked off the throne, and she has to have him murdered.
That sounds fascinating.
That was great, because the man she was really in love with, she couldn't marry because he did not have the right status to marry a queen. Oh, it's great. It's great.
So I'm seeing a spin-off podcast, That Korean Ass Show. When is that going to happen?
Well, people have said I should, like, one of my friends was like, you should have a podcast and you just tell us what happens in Korean dramas. Because they're just so good. And then the other one I watch is either called, if you look it up, it's either Secret or Secret Love. Oh, if you ever been a woman who did something for a man, like she took charges for this man, she went to jail for this man, and he still did her dirty. Told her her baby died. Oh my God. And then her daddy died. The show was too good. The show was too good. And then I can hear your voice about a boy who's a psychic who has to figure out the man who murdered his daddy. And he falls in love with the lady who's a lawyer, and it's a maid-of-summer relationship. Oh, listen, please don't get me started on this. I know you have other things to do with yourself today, Josh Jackson. Don't get me started up, dog. This is my favorite, one of my favorite things to talk about.
Favorite. Love it. I love it.
Anyway, go to Korea. You know, like the keychains, hair, stunting, humble, stunting. Like, just come on, just beautiful, gorgeous, too much. If they mess around and let your girl get some real cash, If you see these keychains, because keychains are basically like, so the easiest way to explain to someone, it's the Korean equivalent of a geisha.
Mm-hmm.
So these were the educated women. These were, they were poets, they were musicians, they were entertainers, but the hair though, laid. I was like, oh, don't let me mess around and get some real funds and just let me go to Korea. I'm gonna come out of there with 50,000 wigs. I'm bringing a whole suitcase just for wigs. That's all I came here for. I came to get the hair.
The last thing I want to ask you about, back to your podcast, how do you enjoy like having your own show, kind of the business end of it? And I know you've got producers and you've got people helping you out, but this is your thing. What has that been like to be able to host this thing and be the host?
Well, I've hosted like comedy shows before, and a lot of the people who I'm talking to initially are people that I already know. Other than, Thea Vidal and Justin Simeon, most of the people that I'm interviewing are comics that I know. So the interview process has been a lot easier because I'm not talking straight up strangers. Because like the first interview we put up was with Derek Gaines, and I've been friends with him for years. And then Roy, friends with him for years. He was talking about UPN. Jamar, Malachi Neighbors was talking about Friday. And he gave me my New Year's Eve kiss. And he's my buddy. So these are people that I'm friends with that I know. So it's been easier to talk to them. Baron Vaughn, who was talking about, the work of Robert Townsend, was interviewed him. He's been like a mentor to me, a big brother to me, a big influence in, how I work as a comic and an actor, and, how I see myself in the industry and as a person and as an artist. So, and he's always been really supportive of me, and I can always look to him for, support or ideas or anything. So being able to talk to, people that I admire and comics that I know and performers that I know has made the process a little easier. But also I've been able to ask them questions to get a little bit more insight on who they are and to learn more about them. Because I didn't know, because like Derek said, the show Martin is why he wanted to become a comic. And what influenced him to become a comic and a performer. And I did not know that about him. So if anything, it's helped me to have, to learn more about my friends and to gain stronger relationships with them.
That is so great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun. And people can find your podcast, That Black Ass Show, pretty much anywhere there's podcasts. They can follow you on Twitter at Dulcé Sloan. What else?
Yeah, it's from Starburns Audio, but it's on Spotify. It's on the iTunes. It's wherever you pick up your delicious little podcast.
All right.
But yeah, I'm excited. We've got some great interviews coming up, and I'm excited for y'all to hear what we got.
All right. Well, thanks so much, and you be safe.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.